What if the real winner of a global conflict isn't decided by who has the biggest army or the loudest headlines? What if it's decided by something invisible, something structural? When people talk about a US-China conflict in 2026, they look at the obvious things: trade numbers, political speeches, who's shouting the loudest. But from a QiMenDunJia perspective, that's all just surface noise. It's the symptom, not the cause. The real starting point is understanding how each side is positioned for that specific moment in time. And that's where the conversation changes. It's not about predicting the future, it's about understanding strategic advantage. Think about it like this. When you look at the world stage heading into 2026, it's easy to see it as a boxing match. One side throws a punch, the other punches back. A simple contest of strength. But this is where most people get strategy completely wrong.
Because in QiMenDunJia, the move you see is never the whole story. The tariffs, the alliances, the angry speeches, that's just one layer, and it's usually not the most important one. So instead of asking who's stronger, the real question is who is positioned correctly for the time they are in. Because strength without the right timing is just wasted effort. It's like having the fastest car in the world, but you're stuck in a traffic jam. When we map a conflict like this using Qimen, we can see the patterns. One strategy is like gunmetal. Imagine a giant, powerful bulldozer. It is direct, forceful, and very, very visible. It relies on smashing through obstacles with pure power. This is your tariffs, your blockades, your attempts to reshape the world through brute force. Now, a bulldozer is powerful, but it's also rigid. It can only move in a straight line. Its biggest weakness? It assumes the other guy will stand there and get run over.
But what if the other side isn't playing that game? What if their strategy is more like Ding Fire? Ding isn't a bulldozer. It's more like a network of secret tunnels. It isn't loud or aggressive. It represents intelligence, precision, and the ability to work through channels that no one else can see. Instead of meeting the bulldozer head-on, a Ding Fire strategy will redirect it. It builds new roads while the bulldozer is busy smashing the old ones. It operates through quiet networks rather than open confrontation. Now here's where it gets really interesting. There's a concept called Kong Wang, or emptiness. This doesn't mean weakness. It means your attack doesn't land. It's like trying to punch a ghost. You swing with all your might, but your fist just passes right through. You've wasted all your energy and the target is completely untouched. Not because it was stronger, but because it wasn't really there to be hit.
So from a Qimen perspective, what looks like a powerful attack might just be punching air if it's not aimed at the right target. So what does this all mean when you put it together in a real conflict? You see a clash of styles. The gun-style bulldozer strategy relies on visible pressure and immediate results. It works, but only if the opponent plays along. But if the other side is using a Ding-style strategy, adaptive, indirect, and invisible, the whole game changes. The fight is no longer happening at a level the bulldozer can even see. And this is where everyone gets confused. They're watching the bulldozer, so they measure success by how much dust it kicks up. But in Qimen, the most important moves are the ones you don't see. The ones that slowly change the entire map over time, instead of just winning a single noisy battle. What might look like weakness or delay on the surface is actually a strategic redirection happening underneath. So, who really has the advantage? This is where we have to be very clear. Qimen doesn't give you a simple scoreboard that says this side wins, that side loses. What it shows you is which strategy is better aligned with the energy of the moment. And in a complex, interconnected world, the advantage rarely goes to the one making the most noise. It goes to the side that can adapt without getting pushed off its path. The side that can absorb pressure without breaking. The side that can redirect the fight without showing its hand. The real lesson here isn't about picking a winner. It's about understanding that in high-stakes conflict, especially in an era like Period 9, where things change incredibly fast, brute force is never enough. Strategy has to be smarter than that. It has to go beyond what you can see. So when you look at the world through a QiMen lens, you're not trying to predict events. You're looking at a map of how different strategies work under pressure. You see why some approaches create a big splash but cause long-term problems, while others seem quiet and slow but end up reshaping the entire game over time. And this isn't just about countries at war. The same principle applies to your business, your career, and your life. The loudest move isn't always the strongest. The fastest action isn't always the most effective. So the real question isn't who's going to win. The real question is, are you playing the game on the level where the outcome is actually decided? If you want to understand how these frameworks apply not just to the world, but to your own decisions, your business, and your timing, then stick around. Because this is where metaphysics stops being an idea and starts being a tool you can actually